That was at the shadow, yes.
That was
him.
Okay, beautiful. All of that was him.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha, gotcha. It was not a second person.
No.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you.
So
it did go back by the car. We did see the shadow.
Yes, it did. Okay, so the events that led up to the 9-year-old coming to our door, the kid claimed as he was walking home that he was jumped by our son. Our son is 13 years old. He gets out of school 2 hours after the 9-year-old gets out of school. So there's no way our son could have touched or even seen, this 9-year-old kid that claims he was jumped by our son. This is not the first incident that we've had with the neighbor accusing our sons of doing things that they didn't do. We'll eventually go back and show you guys the previous post from 2019 from where we had an issue with him, and then we'll give you a breakdown of that. But so the 9-year-old claimed that he was jumped by our son. What actually happened is that we spoke with a group of kids that walk home with the 9-year-old as well as my daughter, and the entire group basically confirmed my daughter's story. My daughter told us that the 9-year-old kid was saying rude things to the group of kids. The group of kids
racial
slurs to those kids. The group of kids that the 9-year-old was with were all African American, and I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You didn't say a name.
The group of kids, well, how can I put it?
It's okay. You can just say it.
Yeah, I got you.
It's okay. You didn't say a name. You can describe them. It's just a description. Go ahead. Okay,
so the 9-year-old was saying racial slurs to the other kids. Some of those kids that he said those slurs to were brothers and sisters. So those kids proceeded to basically attack him. I wasn't there. I don't know exactly what happened.
Well, he started by hitting them with his skateboard. He typically rides a skateboard to school, so he was hitting the other kids with his skateboard. And apparently, when he hit the kids with the skateboard, their siblings started, getting in. It was a brother. It was a brother that was there, and he was like, I had to defend my sister. He was hitting my sister, and once he hit my daughter, like a few months back, she came home crying because another kid had scratched up her face, and I had told her, hey, don't come back here with your tail between your legs. You need to defend yourself. And that's what she did, and he didn't like it. And when she defended herself, another kid ended up pushing him
into some water.
Yeah, so the kid pushed him from the back, and when he got up, the first person he saw was Jordan, which is my daughter, and he attacked her. So she came home, and that's when she told me, what had took place. And we, we were having a conversation about it, and he came to the door beating on the door. So that's where we are with, him beating on the door at this point.
Okay, so as far as now we're going to show you guys the video. Well, actually, after the 9-year-old beats on the door, my wife calls the police, correct? The police show up. At that time, the kid had already walked off. The police show up. I wasn't home at the time, but she was, so I'm going to let her explain it.
When the police showed up, he pretty much told me that since the boy was 9 years old, it was pretty much nothing we can do. He started to question me, asking me, do I think that the little boy has mental issues, or that he dealing with some type of issues. And like I told him, he's not my son, so I don't know. That has nothing to do with me. I'm calling for help regarding this situation, and I really didn't understand why he was asking me those type of questions. He pretty much said, as far as the damage to my car, it's nothing we can do. I mean, if we decide to take him to court, it's gonna be a civil matter, and that it's gonna be very expensive for us to pursue.
Even with vandalism, do you have pictures of the damage on your vehicle?
I do.
Because with the whip, once he left, you are claiming that he hit the vehicle.
Yes.
He made the scratch with the whip.
Yes.
We have the vehicle here. We could actually.
Yeah. On the way out, we can walk over and see it. Actually.
Okay.
Cool. So he said that we couldn't press charges or charge him with vandalism because he was only 9 years old.
Right.
Is what the officer told us. He said that we could speak with the neighbor and see if we could file it on his insurance, or if he was willing to pay for it, pay for the damages.
Right.
Or if not, then we would have to go to court. or if not, then we would have to go to court about it.
So the police didn't help you?
No,
at all. So he told me he would go and speak with the family, and he went over there to see what was going on. The father was not home at the time, so the little boy answered the door. He said his father wasn't there. The police came back to me and told me he would stay in the area until his dad got home. Meanwhile, the little boy came back outside in the middle of the street with the whip.
He came after the police left?
After the police left.
But
he left his house. He came to our house. Like, the police were at our house.
So basically the police was at his house. When the kid said the dad wasn't there, he came back to our house to tell my wife. At the time, my wife, when he was talking to my wife, the kid, the 9-year-old, same kid, comes into the street with the same whip. And the cop says nothing to him. So nothing at all.
Even though he saw the whip himself?
He didn't say
Everybody
anything.
saw the whip?
Everybody saw the whip.
Didn't say anything to
him.
And
after
he didn't take the weapon?
No, did not.
Nope.
No, he did not at all.
So after that, I ended up going in the house. He said that he would stay in the area until his father came home. His dad ended up coming home, and my son was outside. So he came in and told me, hey, the police officer is talking to the neighbor. I mean, he spoke to the neighbor for less than maybe 5 minutes. He told me after he spoke with the neighbor that he would come back and give me the rundown. He did not come back. He left and then called me and said, since the neighbor is moving, it'll work itself out. Yeah, so he was like, he's moving. He's in the process of moving, so everything will work itself out. We don't know.
Does it look like he's moving? Do you see boxes everywhere?
No, I don't see any boxes. No boxes.
Okay,
no
you don't
boxes.
see any people coming in the garage?
No,
like they're leaving?
He has a trailer that sits out front and it has a bunch of random things on it. But other than that, no, I don't see any trucks coming, U-Haul or anything like that.
Nothing like that.
Anything out.
Okay, beautiful. So you have a video?
Yes.
Something next? Okay.
Okay, so this all happened right after school. The cop came. This is about 4:30 in the afternoon.
Maybe like 2 hours had passed.
After the cop called my wife and let her know what's going on, I was on the road. So I came back into town. I was coming back into town after I delivered my load. So I got home around 7 p.m. So after my wife told me that the police officer said I needed to speak with the neighbor about the damages to see if he would, if he's willing to cover them. I told my wife, okay, so let's go ahead and call the police back out. Let's get a sergeant out this time. So maybe the sergeant will actually do something. So before I even, I'm inside of the house at this time. We called the police. We let them know, hey, we need a sergeant back out because the previous cop had no answers for us. And
they told me, they would get someone out. Right now they're busy, and they would get someone out when they have someone in the area. And then correction on the time, you got home about 6:30 because the video shows that we went over there about 6:59.
Okay, so I got home about 6:30. So at around about 30 minutes later, I go outside. When I go outside, I see the guy standing in his driveway on the phone next to his trailer. So I proceed to walk over. To him to have a conversation with him to figure out and also to show him the video because the first cop that came never showed the dad the video.
The scratch.
He never even told him about the scratch. The dad had no idea that the kid scratched the car. So I had my phone. You can see in the video when we show you guys that I have my phone in my hand. In the video you can't see the dad because he had already went into the house. The dad when the dad seen me walking up, he went into the house. He went inside the house before I could even get there. So in the video it shows me walking up. He's already in the house at that time. So we're going to show you guys the full version, the version that went viral that you guys seen. We cut out the first, I think, 2 minutes because the first 2 minutes is just me knocking on the door.
You knocked for 2 minutes?
Yeah, trying to get him to come outside.
Did you hear any movement? Anyone at the door? Was he talking behind the door?
Yes.
You'll hear that as well.
So in the video, you can hear it in the background kind of faintly, but you can hear the kid, the 9-year-old, the same kid that came to our door with the whip. He's telling me his dad is not home. And I said, I seen your dad just walking in the house. I just want to have a conversation with him about the damages to our vehicle. The kid tells me, my dad is not home. Did you not just hear me? So I say, okay, little kid, I'm not going to argue with you about this. I just want to speak to an adult. So can you please have your dad come to the door? So, at that point, it goes silent. So I ring the doorbell and I knock. And as you'll see, about 2.5 to 3 minutes into the video, you'll hear the dad